Hello everyone, welcome to the market opening bell on Monday, December 22nd, your 10-minute guide to the stock market. The Hong Kong stock market performed well last Friday. The Hang Seng Index opened 136 points higher and then expanded its gains. In the afternoon, it rose as much as 248 points, reaching a high of 25,747 points and closed up 192 points or nearly 0.8% at 25,690 points. The XGR index rose 59 points or 0.7% to 8,901 points. The Hang Seng Tech Index closed at 5,479 points, up 60 points or 1.1%. The total market turnover for the day was $221.1 billion. Southbound funds net bought 3.371 billion Hong Kong dollars worth of Hong Kong stocks. Among them, net buys included Tencent at $1.117 billion, Alibaba at $1.049 billion, Sinuk at $216 million, Yangtze Optical Fiber and Cable at $174 million, and Xiaomi at $118 million. Net sales included China Mobile at $1.053 billion, significant net selling for the second consecutive day, and Horizon Robotics at $161 million. According to statistics, Southbound funds have net bought Xiaomi for 16 consecutive days, totaling $14.869 billion. Net bought Tencent for 4 consecutive days, totaling $1.879 billion, and net sold China Mobile for 6 consecutive days, totaling $3.938 billion. Summarizing the week, the Hang Seng Index still fell 1.1%. The XPeng Index and Tech Index fell 2% and 2.8% respectively for the week, with all three major indexes declining for 2 consecutive weeks. Technically, the Hang Seng Index reclaimed the 10-day moving average at 25,576 points last Friday, while the 20-day line at 25,751 points, 100-day line at 25,862 points, and 50-day line at 25,966 points remain to be recaptured. This week coincides with the Christmas holiday, with Hong Kong stocks having only 2.5 trading days. The Stock Connect will be suspended from the afternoon of December 24th to December 26th, and market turnover is expected to shrink accordingly, with funds possibly showing early signs of winding down. The three major A-share indexes opened higher and closed higher last Friday. The Shanghai Composite Index once surpassed 3,900 points, but ultimately gave up the gains. It closed up 14 points or 0.4% at 3,890 points. The Shenzhen Component Index closed up 86 points or 0.7% at 13,140 points. The Chinex Index closed up 15 points or 0.5% at 3,122 points. The combined turnover in Shanghai and Shenzhen was 1.7259 trillion yuan. Summarizing the week, the Shanghai Composite Index was flat, rising just 1 point. The Shenzhen Component Index fell 0.9%. The Chinex Index fell 2.25%. The renminbi US dollar central parity rate rose 33 points down day on day to 7.055 per dollar, hitting a new high in over 14.5 months. Today, the People's Bank of China will announce the December 1-year and 5-year loan prime rates LPR, expected to remain at 3% and 3.5% respectively. In the Hong Kong stock market, amid expectations of a tourism peak during the Christmas and New Year's holidays, some casino stocks were sought after, with MGM China rising 6.6%. The Macau government has revised its full-year gross gaming revenue estimate for 2025 from the initial 240 billion pesos down to 228 billion. However, due to a strong performance in October, reaching 24.09 billion in a single month, the market generally expects the full-year revenue to exceed 230 billion or even approach 250 billion and surpass 260 billion in 2026. Positive factors include high-end mass mass market becoming the core of revenue, offsetting the contraction in traditional VIP business. Concerts such as K-pop performances and sports events have successfully attracted non-gaming tourists and converted them into small stakes gaming consumption. Mainland visa policies have been further relaxed and the stock market recovery has brought wealth effects. Following the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology's announcement of the first batch of L3 autonomous driving approvals for 2 vehicle models, other automakers are fully preparing. XPeng Motors has obtained an L3 road test license in Guangzhou and plans to achieve L3 mass production by the end of 2025, with 2026 expected to be the key point for full rollout. BYD, NIO, Li Auto, SAIC, and GAC have all been selected for the L3 pilot program, with most automakers targeting 2025 as the year for L3 mass production. Huawei expects 2026 to be the year for large-scale commercialization of high-speed L3 autonomous driving. Autonomous driving concept stocks such as Horizon Robotics, Hesai, and Yujia Innovation saw significant share price gains. Nike reported better than expected results for the second quarter of fiscal 2026, but revenue in Greater China fell sharply by 17% year-on-year, which was the main reason for the stock price decline. Management expects the weak trend to continue into 2026. Hong Kong-listed sportswear stocks weakened across the board, with Sunchow falling 3.2%, Li Ning down 0.7%, and Anta down 0.6%. The U.S. stock market had the positive atmosphere last Friday, with Oracle leading the market higher. The fear gauge VIX fell 2 points, or 11.6% to 14.9. The Nasdaq rose 301 points, or 1.3% to close at 23,307 points. The S&P 500 rose for 2 consecutive days, up another 59 points, or about 0.9% to 6,834 points. The Dow rose 183 points, or 0.4% to 48,134 points. The Nasdaq Golden Dragon China Index, which reflects Chinese concept stocks, rose 65 points, or 0.9% to 7,639 points. Hong Kong ADR suggests the Hang Seng Index will open 107 points higher, today at 25,798 points. For the full week, the Dow fell 0.7%, the Nasdaq rose 0.5%, and the S&P 500 rose just 0.1%. TikTok has formed a U.S. joint venture with Oracle and others, with ByteDance retaining the U.S. e-commerce and advertising businesses, boosting Oracle by 6.6%. Reports indicate ByteDance is on track for about $50 billion in profits in 2025, a record high. The company has already accumulated about $40 billion US dollars in net profit in the first 3 quarters of this year, exceeding internal expectations. If achieved, ByteDance profits would approach those of U.S. competitor Meta, which is expected to reach about $60 billion US dollars this year. Other AI stocks also rose. Reports say the Trump administration is evaluating the possibility of NVIDIA selling its advanced AI chips to China. Meanwhile, U.S. investment research firm Bernstein noted that NVIDIA's valuation relative to the semiconductor index is unusually attractive, lifting NVIDIA shares by nearly 4%. Micron Technology continued its upward momentum, rising another 7%. Nike beat quarterly expectations, but sales in Greater China declined, causing the stock to fall 10.5%. The University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index rose from 51 in November to 52.9 in December, below the expected 53.5. The survey shows U.S. one-year inflation expectations fell to 4.2% in December, marking the fourth consecutive monthly decline and the lowest in nearly a year, slightly above the initial value of 4.1%. Meanwhile, five-year inflation expectations declined for the second straight month to a near one-year low of 3.2% in December, consistent with the initial value and below November's 3.4%. Overall, households remain generally pessimistic amid persistent inflation and a frustrating labor market for job seekers. Driven by investment demand and tight supply, silver prices surged to a historic high, with March silver futures rising 3.5% to $67.489 per ounce, up 8.67% for the week. Gold prices also held steady amid increased Fed rate cut expectations. Oil prices rebounded on Friday, with NYMEX January crude rising $0.51 or 0.9% to $56.66. Brent February crude rose $0.65 or 1.1% to $60.47. This was mainly due to U.S. President Trump's statement that he does not rule out the possibility of war with OPEC member Venezuela. Venezuela holds the world's largest proven of oil reserves. Our stock pick today is Zhejiang Shibao, stock code 1057. Zhejiang Shibao mainly engages in the research, development, manufacturing and sales of automotive steering system products. Its products cover electric power steering systems, EPS, rack and pinion type, gear type electric recirculating ball steering gears, as well as the steer-by-wire system SBW, successfully developed in 2023, which is expected to achieve mass production in 2026. The business simultaneously covers both passenger and commercial vehicle sectors. The group has 5 production bases in Hangzhou, Yiwu, Siping, Wuhu, and Changzhou, with a group research institute in Hangzhou and an automotive intelligent technology research center in Beijing. As one of the earliest domestic enterprises to independently develop automotive electric power steering systems and intelligent steering systems, the group provides advanced active steering solutions for autonomous driving. The client base includes well-known car manufacturers such as Chery, the largest client, Geely, NIO, Li Auto, FAW, Leap Motor, Chang'an, and Xiaomi. Benefiting from the accelerated trends in automotive electrification, intelligence and globalization, as well as the gradual increase in market share for Chinese brand passenger cars, the group sales of electrified and intelligent steering system products have grown significantly. In the first 9 months of this year, it achieved operating revenue of 2.461 billion yuan, a year-on-year increase of 35.44%. Net profit attributable to shareholders of the listed company was 149 million yuan, an increase of 33.66%, mainly due to the overall gross profit growth, driven by the increase in operating revenue, along with a decrease in the proportion of sales and management expenses relative to operating revenue. The net cash flow generated from operating activities was 191 million yuan, a year-on-year sharp increase of 4,082%, mainly due to the increase in cash recovered from sales of goods. Looking to the future, the trend of automotive intelligence is accelerating, and supplies of core intelligent automotive components are expected to continue growing upward in the new round of industrial transformation. The group will continue to focus on its main business, promote the marketization of electrified and intelligent automotive steering system products, assist in high-level autonomous driving for vehicles and support to localization of automotive parts. Suggested buy price $4.9, target $5.45, stop loss level $4.6. I do not hold the above stock.